shoot. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, stop me. 4 takes, that's true. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, you got me.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Cobb and Dash Show. Marcus Dash right there, of course, is our guy, Ryan Cobb, who he's been under the microscope recently. Some could say he's been on the microscope for the last year since he's been, the bottom feeder of the league. But we'll get into all that on this episode tonight. But, Cobb, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing better than I would have expected. Being in the position I am for the second year in a row, I think last year it really caught me off guard, but this year I was able to just accept it early and just enjoy the rest of the season, not stress out too much about it and just kind of move on.
Yeah. We'll kind of get into what the highlights of the last few weeks. Because we didn't do show the last 2 weeks, I believe. And we'll get into all the moves that you've made and where you've been. As far as what you're doing around the league right now, because I think the last time we saw you was at McDonald's. So, it's been more of the same, I would say, in a way. But you've been under the microscope as well. Our top dog in the league's been coming for you. He, Michael Yaglu, new guy to the league, who I was really high on coming into the season after I saw his draft. He's dominating the league, and I'm just going to a couple of graphics he wanted me to actually point out to the league. So let's pull them up here. So graphic number 1, this is his the standings of the league right now, but the caveat to the standings, he's got 2 things highlighted. He's got his number 1 being highlighted, himself, Dash's Coke Addiction, and then number 12, Iowa Boomerangs, being highlighted at 1 and 5 at the bottom there. That's Cobb's team. So gotta say, really nothing to these graphics. It looks like an iPhone just screenshot of his Yahoo app, so pretty good. Not bad. And then the other graphic is his matchup with Cobb last week. Yaglu barely got number 2 overall score of the week. I edged him out by a couple points, but I was happy to see that. But yeah, Yaglu wanted to highlight the fact that he beat you by almost 30 points, and he's really happy about beating you, and he's reveling in it. And I gotta say, as someone who picked Yaglu to make the playoffs and be a strong team this year, I'm pretty happy that he's showing out like this, because a lot of people doubted me, you being one of them. You doubted me for my whole Yaglu pick, and I'm really happy that he's paying out. And also on top of that, a lot of people thought, like Matt Hotch, he thought that bringing Yaglu into the league was kind of a sketchy move because we don't know how much of a good owner he will be, how much he knows about football. And I was like, no, this guy knows his stuff. And Yaglu, everything I've seen from him this year, he's loving fantasy. He's a big fantasy guy. I don't know how much of that is him being number 1 in the league that's making him really be happy about fantasy and talking about it. He went to a bachelor party last week with a bunch of nerds, he said, and he really hadn't much to talk to him about. But he said fantasy football was one thing that he could talk to him about. And, the BL Plus does, it brings people together, whether it be in our league, be it our friend groups, but obviously in other people's friend groups as well. But Yaglu dominating right now, and he's dominating you as well on the fantasy field and off the fantasy field. What do you got to say about Yaglu dominating you like the way he has been?
Yeah, I've got a lot to say. So just want to first off just address the fact that I am in last place. Again, we'll kind of cover that a little bit too, because we're going to cover some moves that I've made. And you said I've been under the microscope for the last 2 years. I'd argue the last 5 years I've been under the microscope, because I was back-to-back champion, then I was in championship, and then back-to-back last places. Well, potentially back-to-back. So that's 5 years of headlines, baby. Maybe not the best, but at least, I make things exciting, and I'm kind of being the center of attention, also being a co-host here on the Cobb and Dash Show. And with that does come responsibilities that you have to stand by your comments, and you need to know when to, accept defeat. And the only issue I have with that is I did do some looking back, some retrospective, just went back to the Cobb and Dash, the pre-season rankings episode, where that Yags has continuously addressed every single week that he's been on this this little streak of his. And I don't really know what he heard that didn't, maybe made me a target. Alex also said a few things. All we had said was, he has a great team. The teams from I think we literally said from 3 to 8 or 9 that we had ranked were all super close. It was more so of extra things that kind of held Yags back in our mind. And the only thing I ever said was his in-season management was the only thing I had a question mark about. And I'll tell you right now, he put more effort into these graphics than he's had to do with his in-season management, because he hasn't had to do anything. He's had no injuries. He had some good, and I said on the show, he had a good draft. I said that Henry, as long as he performs, this should be a really dangerous team along with his receivers. Turned out to be true. So again, I'm not really sure where Yags is coming from with these attacks. I also went on record multiple times saying that I hope he makes the playoffs, that I really like seeing Yags be successful in this league. I think he needed it after last year, even though he didn't get last somehow. But I'll tell you what, after, beating the last place team, I mean, congratulations. 5 other teams did that. 4 other teams did that, about to be 5. You beat me by under 30 points when I had 2 guys combined for negative 0.6. So I don't know, good output, but I'm the last place team, man. It's just like I said in the group chat, it's running around school bragging about beating a handicapped kid in a race. It's just I've had a rough year, and I'm here to admit that. Again, we'll talk about the moves I've made, but these attacks on Yags, I wanted to be in his corner. I was in his corner. If he doesn't want me in the corner, I'll tell you what, I don't need to occupy that spot. Someone else can take it from here on out. I'll play the bad guy. I'll play the enemy against him. Let's get some new faces up here.
I'll say this: I've been in a Yags' corner. I'm not one of these Johnny come latelys. I've been in Yags' corner when a lot of people were doubting me. As I said, want him in the league. People said no, it's not a good move, like Matt Hotch. And I was like, no, Yags is the guy. He was like, no, his brother's better. And I'm like, no, man, Yags is him. And he's shown it. He is him so far this year. And I watched when I asked you, I know you wanted to root for Yags, but the fact that Yags is coming for you, are you not rooting for him to win the championship this year?
No, he's done. No more. I tried to root for him. I said again, multiple Common Dash shows, I hope he makes the playoffs. But for some reason, he held on to me not liking his in-season management, and he still hasn't shown me that he'd had to do that. But and if there's anything to say, I do think we have a lot of skillful owners in this league. Let's not forget that fantasy does have a lot to do with luck. And, just going off of Yags not getting last place with his team last year, and Hotch is in 3rd place. All of us had him as the Pancake King going in, and for multiple weeks on the Cobb and Dash show. He's in 3rd place at 4-2. And
it is still early, though. I will say that
it is still early for sure. But he's got to do some major tanking now, which he is trying to do. But yeah, I mean,
Hodges.
I assume so. That's what he said in the group chat.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I was here for the new faces. I loved seeing Stu and Yags at the top of the standings. We've had conversations about it. I've talked about it in the group chat. I've talked about it to Yags, and still wasn't able to shake whatever little comments I made on the pre-show. So I just, maybe he gets there one day, but right now he's not acting like he's been there before. Coming from a guy that has been, I'll root against him. It's unfortunate, but it's how it has to be from now on.
I will say, as much as it is a shock for many, I'm not shocked by this at all. I had a feeling that Yaglu was going to be a top 3 guy this year, as I said in the pre-draft show, the preview show of the season. After I saw his draft and I saw who he had on his bench, I mean, I think we were inputting the rosters that night. You weren't where we were when I was complimenting his roster. You were with Tori and Hodge was like, dude, he's got blah 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 on his, he got McLaurin on his bench. I was like, Jesus, dude, he's got T. Higgins on his bench. What the hell's going on here? And Hodge was like, dude, it's a terrible team. It's a terrible team. I'm like, dude, no, it's not. He has T. Higgins and McLaurin on his bench. It's not a bad team at all, dude. Hodge was just trying to say it because he wanted to dog Yaku's team so he could try to give him a 3-for-1 for Justin Jefferson. And that didn't happen, obviously. And now Yag was number 1 in the league. So I gotta say, I do like, and I don't know what it is, and maybe I've rubbed off on him, but I do like this like aggressive like personality that Yaglu has. All of a sudden, this like, shit talker that he's become. I love it. You know, a lot of people didn't think he had it in him. I knew he had it in him. I didn't know he was going to do this in year 2, but I'll tell you what. Usually, people have sophomore slumps. Yaglu, man, he's got a sophomore sword, dude. This guy is doing something that a lot of people sophomore surge really. A lot of people didn't think he could do it, and I knew he could, and I'm happy to see this aggression, this pettiness, this just overall like solid, rock solid guy. And this is why we want him in the league, and we're seeing it right now. This guy is really coming for throats, coming for the jugular. And I mean, I guess you could say he went for the jugular last week on you. Ended your campaign this year, and then you traded all those trades after that matchup. So, was that before your matchup? Or was that after the matchup?
It was after, but a lot of the talks were before the matchup that I had in place. Yeah. So I don't think the result really mattered as much.
Yeah, but Yaglu, man, I'm here for it. I want to see more. I hope Yaglu, if I don't win the championship this year, he's the person I want to win more so than anybody else. Stu's already won one. Stu, we've already seen Stu. We've already seen the Stu story. Okay, and honestly, it's funny that Stu is making all these trades. Ironically, he's using all his draft capital from last year to try to get all these trades in right before the trade deadline. And was that rule called? Why we call it the weeks? The why we do it at week 6? The Stu rule.
I had a few owners commenting personally to me during trade talks it was too early. A lot of people want to move back.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, like move back later. Well, that was part of the reason because Roden and Haas threatened to quit if we kept that rule around any longer, which is kind of funny. It's funny if it's those two who told you that, if either one of them, because they were both the ones who wanted the Stu, who didn't even want to be able to trade picks in midseason. Then we brought it back. It was like, it has to be earlier on the season before teams know how bad they're going to be, so they can't tank. So it's interesting that if one of those two said it to you, but it wasn't. Okay, well there you go.
Even though I did do deals with both of them.
That's true. It's true you did, but you got to right before the deadline, and that's a Stu rule. The Stu rule was implemented because Stu did this a couple years back where he lost in the championship. He got to the championship and lost, but it's because he traded a lot of picks to get guys to build up this kind of monster of a team. And so hopefully Stu can win after with a 10-year hiatus he's been on from winning a championship. But I got Yaglu. I got my money on Yaglu. Like I said, if it's not me, I want Yags. And that's pretty much it. I definitely don't want ZT. ZT's probably like bottom of the barrel for the person I do not want to win. Hotch number 1, ZT probably number 2. I just love the fact he's never won one before. Longest running owner without a championship in BL Plus history. So, all right.
Has he won a championship game in the last?
I don't think he's ever won. No, I don't think he's ever been to a championship game either. So
that's also see what the highest placement he's had.
Probably third. That's just a guess. I don't ever remember him being in a championship game. So I probably third. I'm going to guess. It's pretty bad. So let's before we get into the previews of week 7, which we'll go through next. But what are your kind of takeaways from what you've seen over the last week or so since the last time we met?
I think a lot of it is. For the most part, it's starting to balance out a little bit. I think there's starting to be a little bit of better separation of the good and the bad teams.
Is there? I mean, half the league's 3-3 right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just like, you're starting to see like Yags went on a 5-game win streak. Stu just lost, but he was on a good win streak. It's just like other than Tasia being in the bottom 6 and Hotch being in the top 6, I think this is about where I would expect things, at least based off of what I've seen of these teams. But yeah, it's just like I'm very interested to see how this season goes. I mean, my biggest thing is obviously I've been focused on where I've been, and obviously like points against are crazy high for me, which is ridiculous. I mean, kudos to actually ZT and Alex though. They're both in the top 6. With pretty similar points against for me. So like their teams have been in a tough position and they're 3-3 in their top 6. Those are 2 teams to watch out for. But obviously my big takeaway is going to be where I am for the second year in a row. Thought I had the second year in a row coming in thinking I had a really good team, really strong chance at this, but my guys like would have big weeks, but it would never be on the same week. I had a lot of good names, as you can, like, there's a lot of people that wanted guys off my teams. So like I knew I had pieces, they just wouldn't click at the same time, which was unfortunate. But I was able to accept it earlier this year than I did last year and at least get some capital. I think I'm really set up to at least have a pretty strong chance at mixing some things up in the offseason, having a strong draft for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's a bummer to see you bow out again. I think when we started this show, I think this is when, in the midst of your run, and like both of our teams were in contention. And right now, both of our teams, I mean, my team isn't in rough shape at all. Guys are starting to get healthy. But you and I were the top half of this league, top third of this league. And now you're possibly going back to back. Pancake King, I'm fighting to get into a playoff spot right now. So it's just kind of a 360 for the Cobb and Dash show. Kind of sad, but hopefully I can represent the squad in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you. And I will say that also maybe that'll play into higher ratings, because I think people like seeing these hosts struggle for whatever reason. It'll make them click in. And when we're not at the top, that means other people are. And when other people are, they're going to want to tune in to hear about their team, because
it's true.
A lot of people in this league like their egos stroked. So, we're here to service them.
It's a good point. Well, and also too, like I think people think a lot of the guys probably don't watch full shows. I know it's like maybe 3 or 4 of the owners watch the shows or listen to the shows. But like if they watch our show, we don't really pat ourselves on the back that much. It's not a very cocky show. It's very just more just previewing.
No, we always have our guards up, waiting to get reverse jinxed. So I think that's a lot of it.
That's true. That's true. And our other co-host couldn't make it today. He didn't get the invite. We heard enough from him. I think we heard enough from him this week when he was trying to defend himself in the handcuffs.
We'll get some comments from a few owners tomorrow. We'll make sure to share those out.
We've had a few 1 or 2 viewers in the live chat. No one's commented yet, but we've had a few. I think I know one person was watching a little while ago. Is your guy Yaglu, or I guess my guy. But yeah, I would say my big takeaway, obviously your whole thing, you kind of selling. But big takeaway is the kind of what I said. A lot of teams are 3-3. So yeah, you have the top 2 teams, but then you have the 4 spots where it's like, who's that going to go to? I mean, because that's a million teams are 3-3. I didn't honestly I was thinking about selling until my team blew up this week. And then I was like, okay, so I do have something here. High score this week. I've already been a low score once. Now I'm a high score. Edged out Yaglu by 2 points. That gave me some hope. With everyone getting healthy now. So there's it's wide open. And from 3 to okay, so Hodge is 4-2, but Hodge is 4-2, and you said he's probably gonna he's tanking. So that means just 3 to 8, all 4-2 or 3-3. And you have 9 to 11, all 2-4. So everyone's like right there besides the top 2. And yeah, I mean, based on the way Stu's team looks, I don't think he's going to lose more than 3 games based on his team. And Yaglu's look like a world beater right now, so I'm not going to talk to him. So we have two spots already that are locked up. Let's just say the buys are done. The bye weeks are capped. So now we have 3 through 6 spots. So that's 4 spots that are still out there for it to take, and everyone in the league hasn't really separated themselves yet. So these next few weeks are going to be very interesting. We'll get into some of the matchups, but I'm looking at some of the matchups. A lot of these matchups this week are going to separate a little bit more. We're going to start to see the peeling off of different teams. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. But so with the episode, we'll get into quick previews of the games, quick Pancake King rankings, and then Barry's motivational squeeze, and then we'll end the show. All right, so Cobb, I'll let you do the honors, buddy, to start off with our first matchup this week. Let me pull up the screen here. Okay, let's look at it. All right, that's good. All right, so first matchup here. It's our first seed, our guy Yaglu versus ZB, the 2 guys who came in together, the rookie class of last year. Give us a breakdown of this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a pretty easy one. Even though I am rooting against the guy, I can't deny Not that I ever have. That his team is pretty good, and I think he's, like you said earlier, he is a lock for the bye. So I'm probably going to lock him in for a win, just as a spoiler before we get into the matchups. But he's able to he put together this win streak without Jordan Love. Jordan Love is back and is looking great. This is a guy that he invested a lot in, or at least put a lot of faith in, and it's been paying off for the most part of the last 3 weeks. And he's going against Houston, whose defense is not that great. And I mean, like, it was Drake May's first start, and I think Drake May looked really good against Houston for what he could do behind the line. Obviously, Jordan Love is on a much better team, much better offense. Against Sam Darnold, one of the more surprising teams in the league with the Vikings, going against Detroit, I think that's going to be a really grungy game. But I'm going to give it to Jordan Love, and pretty easily. I think the projections are a little closer than I would have expected from Yahoo, but I'm going to go Jordan Love here. Justin Jefferson against Devontae Adams. I like that Yags has the kind of counter to anything that ZB could potentially do. I think ZB would want to hope that Sam Darnold blows up, but if he does, I think that's going to lean a lot on what Justin Jefferson can do. So that cancels out a lot of what ZB could make up ground-wise. So he's climbing a tough mountain, ZB in this case. But then we have Devontae Adams, the new Jets receiver, Aaron Rodgers' best friend. Wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers just comes out just peppering this guy with targets just to welcome him to the Jets. We've heard rumors for the last 2 years that he would be a Jet, and here we are. And even with that being said, I think I still have Justin Jefferson edging him out. I think Devontae Adams will get a fair amount of targets, but I am not ready to put him ahead of Justin Jefferson. I think that'd be a little early. But I am excited to see what Devontae Adams does. James Cook against Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry leading rushing the league on an absolute tear. James Cook is great. He was out last minute on the Monday night game, which was a little unexpected, but he's supposed to play this week, but he's also going against the Titans. Titans have a pretty good defense. I do like James Cook, but Derrick Henry's the top guy right now. You're not picking it against him. Noah Fant against George Kittle. I guess, the Bears are on bye. I was going to say Cole Kmet went off against me last week. Which is actually funny because we were all kind of dogging the Cole Kmet being Yags tight end, and he's kind of popped off in a big way 2 or 3 weeks. But Noah Fant against Kittle. Give me Kittle. Kittle's been great this season when healthy. James Conner against T. Higgins. I don't know. I guess I'll go James Conner. He had a really weird game last week, but I don't know. I think the floor is higher with Conner. I would feel safer playing him than Higgins. I think Cincinnati and Cleveland could be kind of a gross game. Like, I feel like they typically tend to be in the AFC North, but give me James Conner just slightly there. Then we have Jameson Williams against Terry McLaurin. Give me Terry McLaurin. I have him in a few leagues, and I've loved it. And he's been getting peppered by Jaden Daniels, looking awesome. Carolina's defense is kind of middle of the road, but Jaden Daniels and the Commanders should have a fun time, hopefully stomping the Panthers. Then we have Judy, the new wide receiver 1 in Cleveland, with the departure of Amari Cooper going against Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith was hurt, came back, ended up putting up a decent performance, even with the touchdown, having a 13. But I'm still going to go Devonta Smith going against the Giants. Judy hasn't really been relevant for a while. We'll see how he is in the Cleveland offense, being kind of like the only receiver that they have with Amari gone. But even then, do we really want a piece of the Cleveland offense starting for us? Probably not. So all in all, I think I only gave ZB like 1-2 wins there in matchup wise, which makes sense just based off of projections too. Yags is supposed to stomp them, and I think he does. I give Yags another win, stronger hold on first place. let's go 135 to 118, 119 for ZB. Tough matchup to walk into for ZB, who's right on the cusp of a playoff spot, being at 3-3.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I think it's gonna be closer than what you said. I do think it'd be kind of ironic and funny if Adams does have a blow up spot, because this is Adams' play for Yaglu's team, and they did that trade this offseason, and this would be the first time they play against each other, and Adams blows up, and then Also, too, the Darnold Jefferson canceled out kind of sucks. But if I'm ZB, you're hoping that Detroit takes out Jefferson and Darnold's throwing at Addison and Naylor all game and potentially Hawkinson. Hawkinson can play this week too, so that's also another pass catcher can come in and take away from Jefferson. But yeah, I do think Yaglu wins, but I do think it's gonna be closer. And interesting though, the Judy one's gonna be interesting to see how he. I mean, that offense is awful, but I'm curious to see what he looks like as the number one guy finally in an offense. But I don't really expect much from him. But McLaurin against Carolina could be a big blow-up spot for McLaurin as well. Carolina cannot stop anything. So yeah, it should be a good game overall. But I think ZB loses this one, and it's a 3-4. It's one of the 3-3 team to go under 500. So there you go. All right, so the next matchup is our number 2 game. So that is Cobb's IR spot versus Lil J. Ooh, wow. Okay. This is pretty good. I didn't realize Stu had some guys last night. All right. So this match was looking pretty close. Everyone thought Stu was this world beater, but I don't know. We'll have to find out some more. Okay, so obviously Stu's team's fantastic. He's traded a lot of guys this week and got a lot of guys back. But last night he had Alvin Kamara, who's starting to look like the Alvin Kamara I had last year after his freaking 6 touchdown game week 2. But yeah, let's get into it a little bit. So Jaden Daniels versus Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy against Kansas City, tough defense. Jaden Daniels versus Carolina. Jaden Daniels all the way. Carolina's awful defense. Mike Evans nursing a hamstring injury, but I think he should be all right. He's been limited in practice. He should be all right. Versus Pickens against the Jets. Pickens again. Lil J's getting dominated with these awful matchups this week. Lil J Pickens against New York Jets, not happening. Not a good one. Kyron Williams gets Vegas versus A-Chain versus Indianapolis. I don't really know A-Chain's status, but I do know Kyron Williams gets volume, and you're going against a really bad run defense and bad defense overall with the Raiders. Give me Kyron Williams. With the Raiders, without having Christian Wilkins in the middle there, it's going to be tough for them to stop anything. And Kyron Williams is going to get volume. Give me Kyron Williams there. Evan Ingram versus Mark Andrews. Evan Ingram, Cobb, you just traded him. How uninspiring has Evan Ingram been this year? I mean, I know last week he got a good amount of targets, but how uninspiring has his play been and disappointing has he been this year?
I mean, super disappointing. I had him in a few leagues where I was relying on just having a safe, consistent tight end where the position is really dry and it's pretty hard to get a consistent tight end. And I mean, last week shows you what I was holding him out for. Seeing him do that in the week that I knew that I was going to be moving on was pissed me off. Like, I was just like, you just pissed me off. So I hope Stu has better luck with him. Again, inspiring to see what he did coming back, but you never know. Like that injury that he had was super odd. The Jags are a mess. So.
Yeah, they really are. And Patriots a good, solid defense, so that's gonna be a tough matchup as well for Ingram. So I don't really know. Mark Andrews, on the other hand, finally got a touchdown last week. Could he be the guy again? It's also pretty sad that you keep a guy who late. He's projecting a 7 points. I mean, there's guys you can pick up who are being projected when Mark Andrews is being projected this week. But I mean, Mark Andrews has a shot. They may be able to use him against his former quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Maybe Andrews has a key game this week. I don't really know, but I'm going to go wash there on that one. And then Kamara 7 versus Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, Kamara, man, it's like 3 or 4 bad games in a row for him since the 6 touchdown game. But I think Brian Thomas Jr. will get over the 7.9, so give me BTJ there. Bijan, another guy who, if you watch those Falcons games, you watch him and Tyler Algier, you would say that Tyler Algier is a more talented running back just by looking at them. Yeah, I mean, you don't think so? Algier,
I think they're both really good, but when you see Bijan with the ball in his hand, I don't.
I mean, based on the amount of touches Algier gets, not nearly enough. But you look at them, you're like, whoa, like who's the okay? If we do this way, you can't really tell who's the 1A, 1B between the two of them when you see.
You would want to start both, yeah. Like they're both startable.
Algier could be a starting running back in the league somewhere.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It's just, but Bijan really hasn't impressed me enough. They have this again, just like last year. They do this weird thing where like some games he'll be taken out. You're like, wait, where's Bijan? Is he coming back in? When's he coming back in? You're going to get Seattle. Seattle looked like dog shit last week. I don't know if their D-line is going to be back, but, I mean, every running back for 49ers had like a 70-yard run against them. Against Diggs. Based on volume, I'm going to go Bijan, but Diggs could be key, especially without another week without Nico. But I'm going to go Bijan here, but I don't think it's going to be by that much. DK Metcalf versus Josh Downs. DK Metcalf, even though DK Metcalf, again, he's one of those guys who, like, God, just give him targets. I don't understand why team. Every year I think DK's gonna have a really big blow up year, and like it's just kind of like average. You know, it's like not the best. But I'll slightly take him over Josh Downs. So I'm gonna go Stu here. I think it's gonna be close though. I do like this projection 117-111. So I'm gonna give Stu a win 123-115. So Stu narrowly gets out of Lil Jay's stadium.
Yeah, a little similar. I think I give Lil J a little bit lower of a projection on my end. It does suck with Kamara for Stu. Obviously, a great value pick for him. And getting a 7. I mean, Saints again. So many injuries, so there's only so much you can do with that. But I don't think Lil J has enough to really make Stu stress too much about that performance. Like, it sucks, but I still have Stu winning this like 120-111. And yeah. Just not much more than that. Stu's top team.
Yeah, I mean, the starting off rough with the Kamara is pretty key. Though.
I mean, keep an eye out for the designation for Marvin Harrison Jr. too, because Stu could plug him in now too.
But I read he's probably. I mean, he's limited base, but he's still in the protocol.
Yeah, I mean, I know the league's been pretty. It seems like anytime someone gets a concussion, they're out at least an additional week. But yeah, I think Stu is I mean, like you said earlier, he's trying to go all in this year.
Yeah, so, he's majorly fucked if they don't. Yeah, he's majorly fucked if.
Bijan and Evan Ingram, those are two guys that I was waiting all season to have a performance like they did last week, and when I see it on the week that I know I'm moving on anyways, super frustrating. So again, Stu, I hope he treats you well.
He's got a good bench too.
Yeah, he does. He should.
Yeah, he's traded a lot of pieces for that bench.
He got 3 starters for nothing. Not nothing, but non-starters.
Yeah. All right, so we got a 3-4 matchup, which is a huge matchup, probably game of the week, I would say, between Hotch and Alex. This is a big matchup this week. Cobb, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, I had to make sure that Hotch wasn't purposely tanking here with his lineup with that projection. I had to look that real quick. Starting Drake May. Key. That makes me excited. I'm excited to see what we do against Jacksonville. But Stroud against Drake May. Man, it'd be so fun to pick Drake May right here because I actually do think he'll do pretty well. Stroud, I feel like I'm going to do Stroud. I'm not going to be crazy here. But I do think these scores will be pretty close because, I mean, I am biased. I did like how Drake May looked, though, against a bad Houston defense, but Jacksonville sucks too. The only thing I'm worried about is his second career start, and he's traveling to London for it. Not a great mix, but I am excited to see what Drake May does. But give me CJ Stroud. We got Kupp going against Jalen Waddle. Kupp we'll see if he plays, I guess. If he plays, give me Kupp. Waddle hasn't done anything really. I don't know who else. Okay, I see who we would plug in, but give me Kupp or whoever Alex would plug in this spot. We'll see if Kupp is healthy. I know Alex has been waiting for Kupp to come back ever since that week 1 performance. He's expecting to see more of that. But I know Alex also has his ear on the ground with this sports stock connections. So it seems like he thinks Kupp's going to go, and in which case I give Kupp the edge here. Barkley against Trey Benson. Give me Barkley. I do like Trey Benson. I had him on my team for a while. I forget why I dropped him. I think I need to make space for someone. But I know Hotch threw a lot of money on him to get him off waivers. So good for Hotch. Give me Saquon. Not much needed to say there, even though Saquon's kind of slowed down since his super hot start. Freiermuth against Bowers. Give me Bowers. Bowers has been an awesome pick. Really surprising how quick he's developed, and with Devontae Adams gone, he's just going to keep eating. So that's a great tight end that I think Hodge is looking to keep for a while. Jonathan Taylor potentially coming back this week against JSN. Again, it's another case of, is he actually going to play? And the advice is he's a near lock to be ruled out. So I guess he's not going to play. Give me JSN. I know Alex does have some options with Jacoby Myers, Amari Cooper, Tank Dell. Those are three good options, I think. Obviously, we want to see how Amari does in the Buffalo offense, but is this going to be a Diggs situation? We saw Diggs go off as soon as he was traded to Buffalo, so maybe we'll see something similar with Amari. I don't know. But I guess for the time being, I'll choose JSN because he has Jonathan Taylor. I'd probably pick one of the other three over JSN for what it's worth. Jamar Chase against Aaron Jones. Jesus Christ, Alex's injuries, dude. Likely. No wonder we're getting so many injury updates about his guys in the group chat. Aaron Jones is likely to play. I know there's been a lot of back and forth about handcuffs and, is Aaron Jones actually going to be healthy enough to play or actually make an impact? Who knows? But give me Jamar Chase regardless. Jamar Chase is, top 2-3 receiver options in the league easily. Not going to take Aaron Jones over him. So give me Jamar. Likely against Dobbins. I'll take Dobbins. He's been another great value pick. It's crazy how many touches he's getting in this offense coming off the injury that he had. I don't think anyone expected that kind of workload, but he's been turning it up. So good for him. I like Dobbins a lot. So give me Dobbins there. If this was any other week or any other team, I might choose you against Alex. But in this case, going against a team that is tanking, or at least trying to tank, doesn't really have much firepower here, but is still somehow 4-2. Really annoys me there. Give me Alex. I kind of like the projection here. I'll do a 127 to a 95, 96. Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, I agree. Trey Benson, he's been pretty much droppable in a lot of leagues. I know he's got.
I dropped him.
He's a rookie, but it's just terrible. Yeah, you're right though. Any other team, you would say like the Alex is beatable this week. Because Cubs still a question mark. Jones is a question mark. I think both are going to play, but Charlotte Taylor's not playing. So Alex's team is just not it's really banged up. It's been banged up all season. Yeah. It's a good team on paper, but and then on the other side, you have 2 tight end sets. Not bad though. If you want to have 2 tight end sets, that's not a bad one to have. Bowers and Likely. But they had Trey Benson, Jalen Waddle, who's unstartable. I'm not starting him in the dynasty league. He's that's all. With their quarterback situation, it's really rough. Drake May, yeah, I do like his Jacksonville's defense is terrible, but a team like that who got embarrassed and dominated has already been there in England for a week. They've already acclimated, so they don't have jet lag anymore. They're acclimated at the time. They got to play inspired football after the way they got shellacked in front of the whole world last week. So I think that is not a good. I don't think they're going to win the game, or they may win the game or whatever, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout, and I don't think Drake May's going to put up numbers that Caleb Williams put up. So if that's what Koch is expecting, which I don't think he's expecting that, I think he wants to lose. I think, I don't think Drake May's have a good game by any means. But yeah, I think Alex wins this game. Hodge goes to 4-3. Alex goes to 4-3. So we'll have we'll be starting seeing the 4-3 pattern coming. We'll see teams go to 3-4, 4-3. It's gonna happen this week. But yeah. So that's so that's a 3-4 matchup. The next one we have the 5. What is this? In my Cobb era. Ooh, okay. We have ZT versus Roden. In my Cobb era versus Hotch's farm system. All right. In my Cobb era on a stock trending down right now. But let's go to it. So you got Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson versus Tampa, Josh Allen versus Tennessee. Tampa and Tennessee, both defenses have been playing really good. So this is this is very interesting. I'm going to go wash here because I don't think either one of these guys are going to have blow-up spots. And I think that they're both playing against really good defenses. But yeah, I'm going to go wash here for both these guys. I think it'd be very similar. I don't think they're going to have impressive performances this week. I'll give them 20s for both of them. But yeah, I don't see either one blowing up. You got Malik Neighbors, who's back. Good for Roden. And then you got Monroe St. Brown versus Minnesota. Give me Malik Neighbors. He's going to be the target hog over there. And yeah, I mean, I don't see him not continue to get the targets that he was getting before he was hurt. So give me Malik Neighbors over St. Brown. Chuba Hubbard versus the Redskins. Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Minnesota Vikings. Give me Chuba Hubbard. Everyone knows the Detroit Lions starting running back is David Montgomery over there. And Chuba Hubbard does not want to give that job up to Jonathan Brooks. I think they're going to kind of ease Brooks back in because the way Hubbard's been playing has been fantastic. So give me Hubbard over Gibbs. Dalton Kincaid. Is Kincaid not playing? I read he's not playing.
Is he not?
I thought he was. I thought I read a really staggering update. He didn't practice yesterday, and that's pretty big. Limited. Okay. Kincaid versus or Kelsey. Give me Kelsey. We saw without Rashee Rice what Kelsey did against the Saints. Kelsey dominates the Niners whenever he plays them. And I don't know if he just shows off in front of his boyfriend Kill, but yeah, give me Kelsey over Kincaid. Allen, Deontay Johnson. Give me Deontay Johnson. They're trying to trade him. They're trying to get any kind of first or second round pick they can get from other teams. So they're going to continue to butter up his stats. Deontay Johnson. Zay Flowers over Ayuk. Zay Flowers. I read a thing Steve Young was talking about how he thinks Kyle Shanahan is trying to punish Brandon Ayuk with his targets and stuff based on the way he acted this offseason, which is kind of weird for a 3-3 team. You're not undefeated. You can't be punishing your players when you're barely winning games. Weird. I'm going to go Zay Flowers, though. He's been fantastic. Pretty underwhelming second half of the game last week. I mean, he had first half 9 for 132. Then I don't think he had to catch the rest of the game, which is pretty crazy. But I like Zay Flowers, like where he's headed. And then Joker versus Brian Robinson Jr. If Brian Robinson Jr. plays, I'm going to get Brian Robinson Jr. But I got to say, man, I do like what Rose bring to the table. I think what happened to ZT last week is the start of a downfall for him. He started off hot. I think it's done now. I think me giving the 158 fucking raping that I gave to him last week, I think it's over. And I think Roden's going to come in for seconds. He wants some sloppy seconds on some ZT. Give me Roden on the underdog, the win this week. Roden wins 134 to ZT's 118. Roden gives it in big time.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is going to be one where we actually differ a little bit. I know I did make a trade with Roden, and he's trying to, just because of where the standings are, he's trying to make a leap to see if he can squeak into the playoffs and make some noise, which I love, I respect. The only thing I really have to say is that, I mean, he made the trade for Zay Flowers, and I was a little surprised to see the people starting for him despite gaining a starter without losing anybody. So like starting 2 tight ends and then also starting a backup running back, like while also you just gained someone. So like I didn't really realize the shape. I guess I didn't fully picture how the shape that Roden's team was in. And I was just expecting I knew he needed the flex, but it seemed like he needed a little more than that. But hopefully, his guys start firing on all cylinders, especially once, DeAndre Swift is the only guy on bye. And I mean, he has Nico Collins and Puka. So if he can survive until then, and like they come back and he's like in the 7, 8, 9 spot, only a game back coming up. Like I think Roden could very well make noise, but it's a little risky right now, just based off of how the team looks. I'm going to give this one to ZT though. I just trust his playmakers a lot more. I know ZT just took a big old smack to the face. I think if ZT could have picked any week to win and not get smacked, it would have been last week. So the fact that it happened, I think he's in his head a little bit. So we could see a position where he comes in unprepared for this matchup. But I'm going to give ZT the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him the win. I'm going to do a 126 to 119.
Yeah, and also too underrated. Roden's got some ballers on his defense too. We don't usually go defense, but Hendrickson against Cleveland, that's a making for a couple sacks maybe. Then Branch, who's been stellar this year, that's he could have a huge game too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Roden, man, is gonna really surge after this trade he made with you. He's got some rejuvenation over there.
I hope so.
In Charlotte, they're looking ahead.
We've been talking about Zay Flowers trade since last year, so I'm glad we finally got something in the books.
You're just happy you got something for him instead of him going to Hotch to get Zay Flowers. So good.
Very
It's good. All right. Okay. So this is the Iowa boom. Okay, I'll do this one. Yeah, I'll do this one. Iowa Boomerangs, and then you get the next two. So Iowa Boomerangs here. This is Cobb's team, not Hodge's team. Versus Adam. Adam needs this win. He needs to keep winning. I'm very surprised how well he's been playing. His team went from like a really crappy team to a really solid team. So really good for Adam. But let's begin here. Joe Burrow versus Cleveland. Daniel Jones versus Philly. Give me Joe Burrow versus Cleveland. AJ Brown, New York Giants versus DeMario Douglas against the Jaguars. AJ Brown against the Giants. Kenneth Walker at Atlanta. Ramondre Stevenson, Jacksonville. Ramondre plays, I think this is a lot closer than what it is with the numbers here, but I'll go Kenneth Walker. Kyle Pitts, I guess Sam Laporta. Give me Sam Laporta. I think Sam Laporta's going to show out for his new team. He wants to show Stu, like, you missed out on a key tight end, good keeper for years to come, and I'm going to show out for my new guy, Cobb. Drake London versus Seattle. Garrett Wilson versus Pittsburgh. I like Garrett Wilson here. I think Garrett Wilson has been dominating number one cornerbacks. Now he's going against number two cornerbacks with Davante Adams being there. I think if anybody made out in this trade for Davante Adams, I think it was Garrett Wilson owners. I think Garrett Wilson's going to just destroy number two cornerbacks. So I think Garrett Wilson, I mean, he was the leading target getter in the league, and now you're putting him on number two cornerbacks. I think Garrett Wilson's going to actually have a strong showing this week. So give me Garrett Wilson. Tony Pollard versus Buffalo or Christian Watson versus Houston. Give me Christian Watson. Christian Watson looked good last week, catching a bomb. Going against Buffalo, Tennessee's going to be down a lot in that game, so I don't think you're going to see a big-time running game from Tony Pollard, but I think you might see some catches. I think Christian Watson's going to be the guy over there. And then Xavier Worthy against San Francisco, Bucky Irving versus Baltimore. I'm going to say wash here, but I might lean Bucky Irving based on volume. Xavier Worthy, I like Xavier Worthy. He doesn't get enough targets. I mean, like, he doesn't get enough touches. So, like, if he's 3 for 45, 3 for 15, 3 for 20, he's not getting more than 3 catches. He hasn't done it all year this year. I don't think it's going to happen this week. But Bucky Irving, while it is a timeshare with Rashad White and Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving is more of a 3-down back. He can get catches. He also be a 10 carry guy, no matter who's over there with the 3 running backs they have. But I'm going to lean Bucky Irving, but I'm going to go wash here just to play it safe. But we have a close matchup here, guys. And I know Cobb was tanking. I'm going to go Cobb with the win this week. No, I might even like saying it just for shits and gigs. I'm dead ass serious. Based on the matchups here, I don't see anything besides the AJ Brown and I think that's it. Besides AJ Brown and the slight Kenneth Walker, Cobb wins all these matchups. And I think the Joe Burrow over Cleveland is going to be significant enough that he dominates Daniel Jones versus Philadelphia. So I think if you're winning the quarterback spot by at least 10 to 15 points, I think you have a good shot to win. So give me Cobb and another upset. I like picking these upsets, but give me Cobb and another big upset this week over Adam. And I don't know if Cobb's happy about that or is not happy about that, but I'm curious to hear Cobb's thoughts on this matchup.
Yeah. So here's this matchup specifically was one thing that was holding me back from fully selling out, because if I had Ingram, Bijan, Zay Flowers, Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously he would have been out, but again, I thought my team was good, and if I had played it out, I don't think I would have gotten last place, or I don't think I think I very reasonably would have gotten out of this spot. But I had to cut my losses. And even then, I really just need to win 1 or 2 more games, and anything can happen, as we've seen in this league for the last this league. Do I think this is the week? No, but I wouldn't be surprised if I beat Adam. I don't think these projections are doing me a lot of favors, or Yahoo's kind of betting against me. I think it'll be closer than this projects, but just based off of the Pollard, London, Walker, AJ Brown, they're more knowns than my guys are, I think, and that's where I'm going to lean Adam, a 116 to 107. I think it'll just be closer than Adam wants it to be, and more comfortable or he's not going to be as comfortable as he wants to be. So Yeah, with that said, like, I mean, my team isn't great, but I do think I could still put up some points. I'm interested to see if I finally get a low score chug because we were talking before the show. Over the last 2 years, I've only had to do one chug, and I've been last place like the entire time. So super interested to see if that starts to change here. But I know Hotch is also a guy that's competing for some chugs here, so we'll see. I'm just hoping I can sneak out some. If I'm not sorry, just to kind of go off of the, am I happy about that win potential? I would say so. I mean, my ultimate goal is to not get last somehow. So if that happens, I'm ecstatic, but I am preparing for the worst. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I will say, like, I don't, based on with some of the matchups we've seen and some of the other lineups we've seen, I don't think you are going to be the low score chug. I think we're looking at Lil J or Hotch as the low score chug this week.
Yeah, that's Lil J's only a game ahead of me. That's what, if I had my guys, I think I would have surpassed him at some point this season. But let's make it interesting. We'll fight the PK King.
Yeah. All right. So we got our next match. I think it was our last matchup. Yeah, our last one. Okay. All right. This is okay. Why am I missing this here? Okay, Barry's Pickup Lines versus Runaway McBride. Myself versus Tasia.
Man, Family Feud. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited to see the group chat during this matchup specifically. I think this might actually be the matchup of the week. I think a lot of, because seasons can go in different directions on a win or loss here. This is very important to both teams. Tasia is a team that all me, you, and Alex had as a for sure top 2, top 3 team, I think, after the draft and how it looks. Obviously, Hertz hasn't done as great, and ETN has been abysmal, which really held Tasia back. But this is and then obviously with you switching for Mahomes, but we've seen that starting to pay off. And that's a move that experienced owners make. They don't die on certain hills. They know when it's time to make a switch, and they make it. So good in-season management there for you. But and I'm really excited about this matchup. Let's look at Jalen Hurts going against Baker Mayfield. Love Baker. I mean, last 3 weeks have been awesome. I mean, 4 out of the 6 weeks he's gotten basically 30 plus. Incredible. And Baltimore, everyone thinks is a stingy defense, but people have been able to throw on them. They've been in shootouts. And I think that's kind of what's going to happen here, especially in a league where passing TDs are worth so much. Baker's not going to run for any touchdowns. He's going to be throwing it. And you get some bonuses. Like, this could be very well a 300-yard plus 3 touchdown game for Baker, despite like a few interceptions. I mean, he had 3 interceptions last week and he still got a 33. Like, that's awesome. I feel like Eagles Giants is going to be a little grungier than expected. I don't think this is one that the Eagles are necessarily going to have to sweat too much. So give me Baker in this one, just based off of how things have been lately. Deebo Samuel against Chris Godwin, 2 great assets, I think, in their offense. Obviously, unfortunate for you because Chris Godwin is a main target of Baker, and he's just been eating this season. So I'm going to lean Godwin here. Deebo against KC, we'll see. KC's defense is great, so I'm really interested to see how San Fran performs. But give me Chris Godwin there. Josh Jacobs going against Breece Hall. I mean, I don't know what to do with Breece. We'll see how the Jets offense looks. I know he got a 20 last week, but like lately it's just been like the previous 2 weeks have been just a headache. I have Breece Hall in the other leagues, and it's just been a headache to deal with. But I'm going to default Breece, I think. I think it's going to be close. Maybe I'll just do a wash. I might just do a wash here because I think the Jets are really going to focus on trying to get Aaron Rodgers, not the Jets, are going to focus on trying to get Devonta Adams involved and seeing if the passing attack can recover. So give me a wash there. Maybe slightly leaning Breece. We'll see. Hunter Henry against Trey McBride. Give me Trey McBride, especially with Marvin Harrison out. I think Trey McBride's going to get a lot of targets. Hunter Henry, we will see. I mean, maybe this is another case of like rookie quarterbacks leaning on tight ends. It does happen. but I do think that Drake May has a good connection with our receivers, Demario Douglas and Jalen Polk specifically. So I think we're going to see a lot more targets that way. But Hunter Henry's a good safety net. But Trey McBride, I'll give the edge there. Then we got Jaden Reed going against David Montgomery. David Montgomery, we talked about Algier and Bijan Robinson. This is the top shelf version of that with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery's awesome. I had him last year. I really, really sad I didn't get him this year. And kudos to you. Like, he's been an awesome asset to have. And I'm gonna give Montgomery the lead here. I do think Houston and Green Bay is gonna be a fun game to watch, but with just how many targets Jordan Love has, I know Jaden Reed has been consistent, but this week maybe he doesn't get a touchdown. I think David Montgomery is a lot safer just at this point. But I think it's a really good matchup here, but I'll give it to David Montgomery. Joe Mixon against ETN. Give me Joe Mixon. I don't really need to say much. ETN has been maybe losing that backfield. I think Bigsby is the guy. And I guess ETN also might miss it anyways. So give me Mixon there. Another surprise. I know he's been out for a while, but surprisingly, like his two fully healthy starts, he's dominated, which is not something I expected. But I know this is a guy that you targeted in the draft. You got him. At least I think you targeted him. And it's paid off when he has played. So give me Mixon there. Then Kareem Hunt, who you went out and got from me. He ended up getting 27 touches that game. That blew my mind. Against Tyreek Hill. Give me Kareem Hunt. Don't want anything to do with that Dolphins offense until apparently Tua comes back, which I think is ridiculous that he's coming back. But yeah, give me Kareem Hunt. So this is going to be a great matchup. I'm excited for it. I know projections are a little lower. The projections for Yahoo this week, I'm just not lining up with. But I think I'm going to give Mr. Marcus Dash the win here. I think just based off of I want Mayfield, Hunt, and then the D-Monts and Mixon. I don't know. I have you guys. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I think you separate a little bit. I think it's going to come down to how much Godwin gets versus Mike Evans. I think you'll be hoping Evans is fine with that hamstring, but I think it's going to be a fun one to watch, especially in the group me. So give me Mr. Marcus Dash co-host with a win. Let's say 132 to 126, 125. I think it's going to be a close one. High score.
Damn, a Monday night barn burner.
Oh, I didn't even realize to play Monday. I like that.
I don't like that. Yeah, I think I do think I win this game. I don't like the projections. I will say Yahoo's season long. They've been really the projections have been really low scoring all year long for pretty much everybody. I think it's the lowest score projections I've seen in a long time throughout the league. But yeah, I think my team, I was nervous about my team for a little bit, but I saw last week what my team could be as far as when all the guys are playing and they're healthy and they're playing up to their potential. Joe Mixon being the lead dog for my squad, and then Kareem Hunt, blast from the past. Last time my team won a championship, Kareem Hunt was starting on my squad, and yeah, we're happy that he's back and getting 20 plus touches a game, and yeah, my team's gonna go. And it's funny, it's 2024, and I'm talking about a team with a three running back approach. 3 guys or 4 running back approach. Really, Jacobs hasn't really done much this year, but he's been a consistent 11 every week. But Jacobs, Montgomery, Mixon, and Kareem Hunt. That's 4 badass running backs, and I'm gonna live and die by those guys. And on top of that, Baker Mayfield can be 30s. Is it sustainable? I don't know. But right now, we're gonna ride it until it doesn't work out. And yeah, I'd like my team top to bottom overall better than Taja's team. It's interesting because Taja's team fell off so fast after the first 2 weeks. Breece Hall splitting with what's Allen. Tyreek not having to Travis Etienne, not the guy. Two of Taja's main guys are Jaden Reed and Chris Godwin, and that's crazy because he has a lot of home run hitters that we thought preseason were home run hitters. And there's not it. So I do feel bad for Taja. It's kind of a blue ball tease of a season for him to go from top 2 to potentially 2 and 5 after this week. Yeah, I do agree. I do think I win this week. So no reverse jinxing today. Maybe on Sunday though. He might see some reverse jinxing on Sunday, but not right now. All right, so now we're going to go to our second to last topic, and that is our Pancake King, and that's, of course, sponsored by IHOP, home of the Stack. And right now we're in midst. We talk about it all year long, guys, but we are in midst of pumpkin pancake season. Pumpkin spice lattes are out there. You can get them iced, you can get them not iced. But right now it's pumpkin pancake season. And if you haven't gone to IHOP to get your pumpkin pancakes, well, you're missing out because we only have a couple more weeks left of pumpkin pancake season. So go to IHOP, go to your local IHOP and get your pumpkin pancakes. And make sure you get a Stack because, I mean, it's the home of the Stack. I don't know, what does it even mean? The Stack is back. I mean, it's IHOP. I mean, the Stacks are always there. It's pancakes. I don't understand when where were Stacks gone?
Back in the BL Plus. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although I don't have a Stack anymore, so you don't have a Stack anymore. Does anybody have a Stack besides Alex's weak Stroud and Tank Dell Stack? I don't think anyone's got a Stack.
Each too. Yeah, I guess not.
Interesting.
Anyway, few Stacks.
He's got Dalton Kincaid, and he's got the weak ones we don't even consider Stacks. Kincaid, Allen, and Keon Coleman.
He's got the little dollar size Stacks.
Yeah, the little silver dollars.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna get to Pancake King. So we'll go from 7 to 12. We'll go fast to this one. So I'll just go 7. You go 7, and then we'll go from there. So my 7th spot is A. Millie. It's a solid team, but he doesn't have the home run hitter anymore. AJ Brown, Drake London aren't that home run hitter that he had with CMC because he had a mediocre team around CMC, but he has CMC in the end. And now he doesn't even have that anymore. And it's just like we're talking about his matchup this week, for example. He's going against Cobb, and it's not the best team, but there's a potential he could lose that game. If you're potentially losing to one of the worst teams in the league, you're not a playoff team in my book. So Adam's my 7th spot.
Yeah, Adam's also my 7th spot for a lot of the reasons you said. It's just not a super scary team. Like he at least he's able to fill a decent roster each week, but not one you're really terrified of going against. This is one, again, if I had not made the moves that I did, I think I should have come out on top. Obviously, we'll see how the games progress, but I also was going through his roster, and he has 2 of his bench spots taken by a kicker and a defensive player. Those are 2 spots that every other team, for the most part, has other players for. So I think that's a really interesting decision. I get Aubrey's been killing it in the kicker position, and he wants to keep him there, but Micah Parsons is out, and Shaheed's out for the year. Are you planning on keeping Rashid Shaheed? Just drop him and put Micah in your IR, free up a player spot or something. I don't really understand that part of Adam's bench there, but again, solid lineup top to bottom. I don't think he's an easy win for anybody, but I also don't think anyone's scared to face him.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's what he's 7 spots usually, fringe playoff spots. I mean, you're not a bad team, but just it's just not a really scary team. Not a lot of home run potential. All right, so my 8th spot you might be shocked by this one. I don't know. You want to guess who my 8th spot is?
Shocked by this one. ZT.
Yeah, ZT. ZT is my 8th spot. So look at his team. He's got a lot of decent guys on his team. Again, I come back to this word. I'm gonna keep going back to this word. The home run potential. There's not a lot of home run potential outside of his quarterback. Not a lot. And I'm looking at his team. I know Ayuk's a big name. Ayuk has probably been one of the most disappointing fantasy guys all year. 5 of 6 games, single digits. 5 of 6 games in the single digits. His one game that he had double digits was a 15 or something like that. So that's what we're going by. And then his last flex a 6-man spot to rotation: Brian Robinson, Rico Dowdle, or Najee Harris. And this week he's going with Brian Robinson with that carousel. Not a lot to love with this team. I think it's another year where we see ZT barely miss the playoffs, and he talks about next year and potentially, being back next year. But I think at some point we need to see a shakeup in this ZT guy. But yeah, ZT right now is my 8th spot.
Yeah, my 8th spot is ZB.
Whoa.
So pretty close, but honestly lines up to what you were talking about with DT. Not a lot of home run hitters from this guy. I mean, James Cook is great, but and obviously, I think what we're really looking to see is how Devontae Adams looks in New York, and maybe this will become an automatic wide receiver one, automatically live ZB's team on the week. But I think he's currently in 8th place, and that's where I have him right now. Just not a lot of other excitement outside of the James Cook, Devontae Adams realm for me.
Yeah, so my 9th spot is ZB. Very similar. I know we keep using the word home run hitters. There's not a lot of home run hitters here. Adams is key, though. I do think there's potential here with Rodgers now. And I remember he made that trade with Yaglu. Him and I were texting on the side, the potential of him being traded. That's why he wanted to go get him. And he got traded midseason. So, good for him in the end. But yeah, his last flex, awful. Rachaad White didn't pan out. Being in the committee now, Rachaad White was never really that impressive. He just got a lot of touches, and he never really did much with them. He's got a lot of volume, catches, and carries. But yeah, Judy Naki, Jameson Williams, all right, but it's not a lot here with the squad. Sam Darnold's your starting quarterback, who's they're undefeated, but his numbers really aren't that impressive. They aren't like 30s or 40s. It's not that impressive. So yeah, ZB's my 9th spot. I don't. There's not a lot to love with the squad.
My 9th spot, probably this. I had a debate between 8 and 9. I ended up with Roden at 9. I like once Nico and Puka come back, I'm really gonna like his starting roster. It's just when they come back is the biggest if right now, and if Roden can weather the storm until that happens. Josh Allen has slowed down, or at least did slow down a little bit with, the first 3 weeks, 2 of them, he had 35 and 38. Obviously with the Miami game was 11, but going into Tennessee's a tough matchup this week, but I do like Allen. He's getting Malik Neighbors back. Chuba Hubbard has been one of the biggest surprises in fantasy. And then he just made the move for Zay Flowers. So it's all about, can he weather the storm? Can his other flex guys that maybe not be super strong flex, can he at least get some sort of production out of them for the next couple of weeks while Nico and Puka heal up? We'll see, but for now I'll have him at 9.
Yeah, very similar. I've Roden at 10. So let's say all those guys are back, right? When everyone's back from healthy. So you got Puka in the starting lineup, so that takes out Njoku. And then you have Nico, so that takes out
Braylon Allen, probably.
Braylon Allen, yeah. So then you're left with the starting team. That's pretty much the starting team. And then you have DeAndre Swift going for Chuba. And Chuba, I think, is actually a little better than him this year. But, it's trending towards Chuba being out because with Brooks coming back. So Swift goes in that spot. It's not a bad team. I just want to take a moment here because we've seen a lot of injuries this year, so it's going to happen. And Nico's going to be out for, 4 weeks? So, he could be done by that point, by the time Nico comes back. So Puka's going to come back sooner. And also, Dalton Kincaid, I want to point this out. That was such a bad pick. I know he hit on the Malik Neighbors one, but, Dalton Kincaid, I don't know if he wanted to stack action, but it was just a bad pick. Second round to where he got him. There's so many other guys he could have gotten at that point. Awful pick, and it's really shown this year. He's had one good week, I think. An 11 was his best week. And I remember when he caught that touchdown pass, Hodge texted me, yep, see, how do you like that Dalton Kincaid pick now? I'm like, oh, yeah. Real great, dude. His best week's an 11. It's an awful pick, and that's another amongst one of the reasons why you don't listen to Hodge. Don't get your information from Hodge. If it's not a rookie, don't listen to him about anything. So, Roden's my 10th spot.
My 10th spot is a guy that's just tanking now. It's Hodge. I know he's in the 3rd spot at 4-2, but I don't really know. Caleb has been turning it on, and maybe this just ends up going out the window because Caleb ends up being really good. CD ends up being really good. And he has a strong starting lineup after that, It's just right now, I know that's Hodge's goal, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him make some more moves and hopefully get a better draft position for himself. So right now I have him at 10.
So my 11th spot, I have Lil J at my 11th spot. It's interesting. I don't have a Hodge for my bottom 6, but that's It's going to head there at some point, but right now he's 4-2. I don't want to have him in that. So he's earned my respect, at least at this point, that he's out. But once he loses this week, I mean, his lineup was awful, man. I didn't like his lineup at all. It's probably my least favorite lineup that we have right now. But give me Lil J this 11 spot. You know, I love Lil J. He's rebuilding a really bad team. You know, Mark Andrews a bad keep. George Pickens all right, but that, you know, he's had two double-digit weeks and a 10 and a 12 in those double-digit weeks. Brian Thomas Jr. has been all right for him. Josh Downs a star for him. It's just not a good team. I mean, let's be honest about it. But you know, he's got some good future plans here. He can really, you know, thread the needle with some of these guys in the future. Isaiah Pacheco was a huge miss. Obviously, you can't really control injuries, but yeah, I just not a good team. I'm rooting for the kid though. I can't wait to see what his chug looks like for this week. I know he's already done one chug this year. It's a second chug, but yeah, I feel for the kid. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I have Lil J at 11. I know he also like he didn't have a lot of draft capital coming in, or he was in a rough shape for the draft, so he did as much as he could. Keeping Andrews was always something that I questioned and hasn't really panned out, and I think he's kind of gone down with the ship there. But I think going forward, Lil J is going to have a great time in this league and showcase why he is here. This year is one of those that you kind of take on the chin as a newer owner, and you kind of go from here. Just the lineup isn't what it should be, and you know, he is still in contention for Pancake King despite the moves that I've made. So if I'm him, I'm watching my games a lot, just as closely as I'm watching my own. So his own.
If he is a Pancake King, at least that's all he had to do. He didn't pay any money for this year because Paul had paid all the buy-in from the year prior. So at least he's got that going for him. So his house money, except for having to pay for pancakes. But again, I'll go back to this. He was a solid guy at the draft. It was like, you know, he was born to be in the BL Plus. After the draft, the whole looking at the draft board. I mean, whenever you see a guy who's his first draft, he's doing one of these at the draft board. That's, you know, I was like, well, he never saw what we used to do at with the old trifold poster boards, and that's what we used to do. We just sit there like this for like hours doing that. And he did it, and he never seen us do that before. I love that. He's a good kid. All right, so now we're getting to our Pancake King, and obviously you guys know what that means.
You are the Pancake King, young and sweet, hiding fan of thieves. Ooh, see that boy, watch that taste, digging the Pancake King.
So my Pancake King, and honestly, I think the Pancake King, like for Halloween tomorrow, right? And I think I don't know if you have a Halloween costume yet, but I do think you should, you know, get get a crown, like wear like a pancake suit or something. It'd be pretty key. It would be a key costume, and having to explain to people why you are that would be really funny. But you're my Pancake King, and you made a lot of trades this week. I mean, I'm surprised you are the Pancake King. I think you were going to be the Pancake King for yourself. You've already done it. You did the McDonald's thing, the supersized Cobb, and then you did the pancakes in your other league. You probably will be going back to pancakes if you are the Pancake King this year. You know, it is what it is. There's worse places to spend a couple hours at. But you're my guy at this spot right now. So I'm gonna let you hold the whole court here.
Yeah, no, God damn it. It's funny because during the song, I was actually wondering if I had a crown or something I could put on my head before it cut back. So maybe that is something I'll look into just for these sessions. But yeah, I am the Pancake King. It's looking, I'd say, about 90% chance that I am last place yet again. Just another year of unfortunate events. I thinking I have a really strong team and it just not panning out for one reason or another. Can't really explain it past that. And this year I decided to cut my losses instead of crossing my fingers and hoping I can somehow make a playoff spot, which I do think theoretically was possible. Was it worth the potential stress and then ultimate disappointment if it didn't work out that way? That's where I said, no, it's not. And you know, why not go for something great? Another number one overall pick and yet another Pancake King crown. So figured to go that way. Sucks to be here. Maybe I won't be here in a few weeks, but that's where we're at.
I felt like you needed the floor there, buddy.
Thanks.
Jonathan Taylor breaking news is out on Sunday. So there you go, Alex. Let's see what kind of handcuff you got, buddy. All right, so now we're getting to our final topic. This is our motivational squeeze. Barry's motivational squeeze. The late great Marcus Berry used to give us a lot of good motivational talks. And yeah, this is one of his last things he has in this league. So yeah, we're gonna go to Barry's motivational squeeze to end the show.
This is why you're fucking holding back, and I'm tired of the BS.
All right, so our base motivational squeeze. So this is a part where we give someone some motivation to either, do what they gotta do, commit to something one way or the other. So I think I'm gonna go with this person every week until there's something done about this guy's squad, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it now until he makes a move to commit one way or the other on a rebuild or a fresh face or a rebrand of some sort. He's going to be my guy. And that is Z Tizzle. Z Tizzle is going to be my guy from Bears Motivational Squeeze. Let's face it, man. You're 3-3. You're probably going to lose this week. You're going to go 3-4. You're going to go back to the same area that you always are at, the 9-7 range. And at some point, you need to do something. And you've kept the same two guys for the last 3 years between St. Brown and Lamar. And I think it's time to trade Lamar. I think you really need to do that. And I think you need to trade Lamar for Jaden Daniels. Start fresh with your guy. I know you're a big Jaden Daniels guy. You need to just do it. Just do it. I may not now because you can't trade picks anymore, but off-season wise, I want you to trade and just make a splash trade. Give us new guys, new crop of guys. No keeping first-round tenders. Don't keep St. Brown. Don't keep Lamar. Let's give us a new face because it's not working, ZT. You're 3-4. You're back in the same spot you were always back in, and that's barely making the playoffs. If you do make the playoffs, you're a first-round exit. Something's got to give. There's got to be a reason why you're the only team, or the longest-running team in this league since the league's inception, that you've never won a championship. Think about it. The guys who've come and gone. Hogan's come and gone. He won a championship. Bryce, he never won a championship. CP came and gone. Won a championship. And we're talking about guys like that, who have left this league and won a championship, and you never left your mark. Very sad. And I want you to win at some point. In some era, some generation, I want you to win. I want you to tell your kids in 10 years, 15 years time, hey, this league, I broke my streak. After being in this league for 15 years, I finally won that league. And right now, it's not looking. We're going to get to 25 years. You're going to have 2 kids. You probably won't have a championship at this rate. And I want you to do it. I want you to win one. So I think going forward, you need to you lose your 3-4. You need to make a commitment to yourself that you will not run it back with any of these guys that you have on your current roster. And that's my spiel, buddy. Cop?
It's a great one. I was thinking about going with the guy as well, but I wanted to give you the floor there. So I might do a Barry's motivational squeeze first, and I'm gonna give it to the guy in first place. I'm gonna give a motivational squeeze to Mr. Michael Yaglu, the guy that has decided to try and make an enemy out of me in this fantasy league. And first off, I want to give him a congrats to proving me wrong and sitting as pretty as he is at the top of the standings. I say proving me wrong in quotes because he took a few statements I said about his in-season management as doubts. But regardless of what happened, I'm glad he was able to use it as motivation. And I'm hoping you can take these words as motivation because it's the last piece of motivation you're getting from me because I'm going full scorched earth from now on. That's what you wanted. You wanted me against you. That's what's going to happen after this. So the parting words I will give you is just remember with, great power comes great responsibility. I hope you continue to ride this wave of success, but just keep your eyes on the prize. You've never won this league before. You've never made the playoffs. Obviously, the second year. Haven't really been acting like you've been there before in other leagues. I don't know how many other leagues you've been a part of, but just don't let the success go to your head. Keep your eye on the prize, and hopefully you can keep using whatever I say about your team going forward as further motivation to keep dominating this league. So let's see how we go.
Wow. You know, yeah, he means well. I don't think he meant the dog you hard, but he just wanted something. He wanted you to, you know. There he is, right there. There's our guy, Yaglu. He you know, he just wants some credit. He wanted you, you know, he wants you to say some good stuff about him. Key look, by the way, a khaki ball cap with a khaki suit.
Honestly, I'd love to see Yags in more suits. What do we got?
Me too. And also the combination of the khaki hat too to match the suit. Takes balls to wear an outfit like that. Takes massive balls. But yeah, you know, like I said, I like where you went with that. But I do like. I guess my motivation would be continue doing what you're doing. Yeah. So whatever the cockiness, the pettiness that you're showing and displaying, it's working for you. It's working. Everyone in the league loves it. I think you've turned around Hotch. I think Hotch went from a guy who's an anti-Yags person in this league to a pro-Yags guy in this league. And you're really showing it, man. So keep it up, buddy. Keep it up. Seriously. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us on our Week 7 preview of the Cobb and Dash Show. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next week. Cobb, I'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
See you later.